Namaskar. I hope all you people are staying at home, adapting the safety measures, following all health etiquettes, thereby fit and fine. With that hope, I would like to start my class. Today I am going to discuss about the first chapter in history, the French Revolution. Whenever we are pronouncing the word revolution, then our mind is getting into one question. What do you mean by revolution? If you want to bring any abrupt change or sudden change, then that happen, then we may call that a breakthrough as revolution. The French Revolution, an epoch-making event, incident in the history of Europe. Why? Today we are proudly having in our preamble the philosophy, liberty, equality, fraternity, justice. All these essential ideas got from the French Revolution. So the French Revolution paved the way for the nationalist feeling in so many parts of the country, including Asia, Africa, Latin America, and China. What importance attached to that? Before I would like to enter into that topic, I would like to discuss about the very important events and incidents at the time of the French Revolution. Let us look over. Let us have a look over all the important dates, events and incidents in the history of French Revolution. 1774, Louis XVI became the King of France. 1789, the Bastille prison was stormed. 1791, the Constitution of France was formed. 1792, France became a republic. 1793 to 94, Reign of Terror. 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte became the Emperor of France. 1815, Napoleon was defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. 1848, France became a democratic republic. At the same time, slavery also abolished in France. 1946, very important year, women got the right to vote in France. That is, universal adult franchise adapted in France in the year 1946. I hope all you people noted down all these important datelines. The NCERT people break the chapter with the help of the very important incident took place in France. What was that? The Bastille prison was stormed on what day? 14th July 1789. The battle, very important, that is took place in France. What happened? We know that the king and his army people, they gathered at the very important front of a hall, and they waited to start firing over the crowded people. But at the same time, men and women belonging to different categories, they formed one people militia. Militia means military. Why? They wanted to search all the important places at where the king kept the arms and ammunitions, meaning war weapons. So in search of that, they attacked so many government buildings. One group moved towards the east. There they saw the Bastille prison, the fortress prison, very important in France. So they got a suspicion that fort, or that is prison, was loaded with arms and ammunitions. Out of that hope, they stormed that Bastille prison on 14th July 1789, killed the commander, and then released 7 prisoners from there. Now the entire Bastille prison was stormed, turned into pieces and sold at a bazaar, and the people were ready to purchase the broken pieces of that prison, and they wanted to keep those pieces as a souvenir in their house, because Bastille prison, it was a symbolic representation of despotism in France. See, this incident happened on what day I told you? Yes, that is 14 July 1789. And what were the incidents that make the people to do that? Was it a day's dream, or it is a chain of events thereby the people were boiled out? Undoubtedly, so many reasons, causes, factors were responsible for that. The number one cause, let us discuss about role being played by, that is very important person, Louis XVI. In the year 1774, Louis XVI, he belonged to Bourbon family and he became the king. And when he became the king, he got into marriage with the very beautiful queen, Mary Antoinette, at the age of early 20. When he sat on the throne, he found that the throne was not a bed of roses, but full of thorns. Why? Because the royal treasury was emptied. We have to list out the reasons why that royal treasury was emptied. What were the specific reasons responsible for that? Now let us discuss how far Louis XVI responsible for the outbreak of the French Revolution. Or in other sense, what were the political causes responsible for the outbreak of the French Revolution? So in order to discuss that, we are having many points. What were the points? Let us discuss one by one. Number one, to meet war expenses. We know that the French rulers, they were in great craze to go and occupy more and more territories. In order to do that, they wanted to conduct so many wars as possible, whereby the war expenditure increased or boosted up. This is point number one. And number two, very important, they got one extravagant, very, very luxurious palace at Versailles. In order to meet that royal court expenses, the government spent a lot of amount over that. This is point number two. Number three, we know that in order to conduct the wars, they were in need of well-trained, well-equipped army. So in order to maintain that huge army, they spent more money. And very important, they would like to run the administration efficiently, universities, these are all the activities they wanted to invest the money. Okay. What about the condition of France at that time? Earlier, France borrowed money from the moneylenders, and the money that they borrowed reached up to what? 1 to 3 livres. Livres, that is the French currency at that time, and it was in what occurrence, otherwise in practice, up to 1794. When this debt increased or multiplied, what about the people, those who had given the money? What rate of interest they would like to get? So that is in alarming state. That is, they increased the rate of interest at the tune of 10%. Then was it possible for the government to pay that money? This was a question we have to raise. Now I would like to ask you people the very important question that, and note down this question also and try to write the answer to this question. Are you ready? How far Louis XVI responsible for the outbreak of the French Revolution? So you note down all the key points. To meet war expenses, to meet royal court expenses, to maintain a huge army, to run administration, universities efficiently, and not only that, the rate of interest also increased. So thereby, the debt rate increased from, that is up to what, 3 livres. In order to meet the increasing expenses, now the French government was in great worry how to get that money. If they would like to impose tax, that was the one and only solution. But to whom they had to impose that tax? Because they got one system, that is feudal system, in which the society was divided into 3 categories, like as follows. Number 1, first estate comprised by clergy. All church and church authorities comes under the first estate. Second estate, all the feudal lords and nobles comes under the second estate category. And in third estate, there are three types of people. Number one, businessmen, merchants, lawyers, and court officials. Number two, peasants, artisans. Number three, landless farmers, small peasants, servants. Once again, I would like to repeat, all of you note down also, that is first estate comprised of clergy, second estate nobles, third estate, again there are three categories. Number one, businessmen, merchants, lawyers, court officials. Number two, peasants, artisans. And number three, landless farmers, small peasants, and servants. Amongst these three categories, now to whom they were ready to impose the tax. It is very interesting that now in France, no question to impose tax over these two categories. These two categories were exempted from tax. So there no need for them to pay the tax. Exempted. When these two were exempted, who was there to pay the tax? Only the third estate. Now the burden fall on the shoulders of the poor people, those who were groaning under heavy pain one side, and now they were compelled to pay the huge tax. Now let us see how these things getting into worsening in France. Once again, I would like to brush up your memory. Come on, tell me how the French society was divided into three estates. Yes, I am hearing the answers from you people that the French society was divided into three estates: first, second, and third. Clergy, nobles, and then what? The business people, merchants, peasants, rich people, all these people come under what? That is third estate. Okay. And I told you that the first two estates were exempted from tax payment, and now who had to pay that tax? Only the third estate. In order to understand that, we have to recall the condition of the feudal lords. In France at the time, 90% of the poor farmers, they owned only 20 to 30% land. But 60% of the land was under the control of the feudal lords and church. Just to imagine. One irony was there: more people, less land. Less people, more land. But they were free and no need for them to pay the tax. And now who were in trouble? The poor people were in trouble. And now in order to understand that, how the feudal lords, they enjoyed their life. Number one, no need for them to pay tax. They were purely exempted from the payment of taxation. Number two, top of that, they were getting feudal dues from the farmers. So they're very interesting that they were ready to get more amount of money from the poor people in the form of feudal dues. Number three, very, very important, they were allowed to extract free labor from the third estate. They may be asked to do the household work, or do the laying down of the roads, or to, very important, to lay down the roads, etc. See, when we are discussing about the condition of feudal lords, no need for them to pay taxes. Top of that, they were getting feudal dues from the farmers. One side, no need for them to pay tax. Another side, they were getting dues from the farmers. Number three, they got the freedom to extract the work from the third estate free of cost. Either they may be asked to do their household work, or that is construction of the road, or to maintenance of their water, any buildings, every type of work was allowed by them or allowed to them to get the job from where? From whom? From the third estate. That too at free of cost. Okay. Now let us go for the second one, condition of church or clergy. Number one, no need for them to pay the tax. Okay, good. Number two, very, very important, they may be allowed, or they may have allowed to collect one tax from the people in the name of Tithi. What do you mean by Tithi? 1/10 of the gross produce. Suppose if the farmer is having 100 bags of wheat, then he had to give 10 bags of wheat as a tax to who? To the church. So the name of the tax, Tithi. So don't get confused, because the Taili also there. Many students are getting confusing. What is the difference between Taili and Tithi? So Tithi is shortcut. You keep on key point in your mind, 10th. 1/10 Tithi. In such a way you keep in your mind, Tithi is nothing but the 1/10 of the gross produce given by the farmers to the church. Okay. Now let us go for the poor people. What about their condition? One side they got no land and so many natural calamities and problems. Another side they were compelled to pay 3 types of taxes. What were they? Number 1, Tithi to the church. Already I told you that 1/10 of the gross produce they had to pay to the church. Number 2, Taili. This is an indirect tax to the government. The people, the farmers or the poor people, they had to pay this tax directly to the government. That tax called as direct tax, Taili. Number 3, they had to pay indirect taxes like the commodities, tobacco, salt, etc. So everyday consumer items, what they were consuming, over that they had to pay the indirect taxes. Just to think it of, the poor people, they were the mere sufferers in France at that time. I would like to test your memory. Will you please try to take down 2 important questions of what now I taught to you. Number 1, differentiate between, are you taking? Differentiate between Tithi and Taili. Differentiate between Tithi and Taili. Got it? Shall I go for another question? Number 2, with the help of a flow chart, indicate the 3 estates prevailed in France. With the help of a flow chart, indicate the 3 estates prevailed in France in the old regime. Now we saw the condition of the poor people in France. Added to their problems, one important problem took place in France. What was that? The subsistence crisis. What do you mean by subsistence crisis? This is an awkward situation in which the people were not able to meet their livelihood. Are you getting into? This is an awkward situation in which the people were not able to find their means of livelihood. Means they were pushed into the utter poverty for a long period of time. Then such a type of crisis called as subsistence crisis. Okay. Hope that you got the idea regarding subsistence. Now, why subsistence crisis took place? One side, the population increased at a jet speed. Within a short span of time, the population rose from 23 million to 28 million. Population more. In order to feed the increasing population, the food grains also needed. What about the supply of that food grains? The supply of the food grains very limited. So what idea we are getting? So we are having one very simple formula here, that is what? Demand more, supply less. Then what would happen? The prices of the commodities shoot up or went up. If you are going to a market and you are getting, that is a tomato as what very available in the market in large amount, then the price of the tomato might have been bought 20 rupees or 25 rupees per kg. But at same tomato, but the arrival is there only limited quantity, then the price of the tomato would undoubtedly shoot up. So likewise here the demand more, supply less. So that is why quite natural prices of the essential commodities shoot up. So demand here, it is in increasing trend, but the supply, it is in decreasing trend. So the prices shoot up. So very difficult for the people to go and buy the items in the market. Okay. Now what about the industry and industrial owners and the workers? Were they concerned about their laborers? Of course. Because when the prices of the essential commodities shoot up, the industrial owners also ready to increase the wages of the workers. No doubt. They got more wage than earlier. But so sad, what they met in the market, mismatch with the market price rise. But in the market, the price is what that shoot up or went up into the what sky level, but their increase in the payment or the wage is only very marginal. So difficult, even though they got extra wage, but difficult for them to go and purchase the commodity in the market. Number 3, above all, the people were worst hit by what? The natural calamities like hail or drought. No rainfall, so because of that, crops failure, another side pesticide, another side hail. So because of that natural calamities, the production of the food grain amount also what? Dwindled or cut short. Because of all these reasons, the French people, they met the subsistence crisis for a long period of time. So take one question also. Define subsistence crisis. Define subsistence crisis. What were the reasons responsible for it? What were the reasons responsible for it? Okay, all of you took? Okay. With that hope, I am going to move to the next part of the lesson, the rise of the middle class. Now, let us going to discuss about the very important one category of people called by the name the new middle class. Already we discussed 3 estates. Now you may be astonished. Who formed this middle class? Actually, we should know that whatever may be the country, whether it may be America or France or Germany or India, whatever may be the country, if you want to bring any changes in the society, that should be done only by the middle class. Because the middle class people are the eye openers of the society. So middle class very, very needed. So quite natural. In France also, already we saw about the farmers and workers, but they can't do anything or couldn't do anything. What were the reasons for that? They were very much interested to do the work and getting the wages, running their families, but they completely got absent mind regarding the policies, principles, programs, how everything should be organized. From that juncture, they were what failure. Now, need. What was that time? The most important thing needed, the middle class. Now in France, quite natural in all countries, the middle class people constituted by the merchants, manufacturers, lawyers, administrators, meaning intelligentsia group. The educated and intelligentsia group people, they were responsible to bring the changes in the society. The middle class people, they wanted to bring changes through their writings, through their speeches, and through their interaction with the people. What about their main demands? They pointed out that no privilege based on birth. We saw that first estate, clergy son should be a clergy, noble son should be a noble. So that is based on birth. But now they pointed out that that should not be based on birth. Then it should be based on what? That should be based on their work and based on their merit. That was very important demand of the middle class people. Number 2, equality. All the people should be treated equally before the eyes of law. Nobody should be discriminated in the name of their birth. And number 3, very important, that all people should have to enjoy or to breathe the air of freedom and liberty. These were the basic demands demanded by the new middle class people. Amongst these, we got some noted French philosophers. Through their writings, they inspired the people and they ready to sow the seeds of nationalism in the minds of the common people. Who were they? We talked about Voltaire, Rousseau, Montesquieu, Locke. Now I am going to give the importance to these 3 people. John Locke. John Locke, he wrote the famous book, Two Treatises of Government. Two Treatises of Government. In that book, he pointed out that one side he talked about, or he put his question against the absolutist theory of the king. What do you mean by absolutism or despotism? All the powers concentrated into the hands of a single man, that is, into the hands of a king. That should not be there. Power should not be concentrated into the hand of a single person. And number 2, he also discussed against the divine theory of kingship. What do you mean by divine theory of kingship? The kings make the people fool. They pointed out that they were the gods on the earth. They were the true representatives of God on the earth. So that theory also protested by John Locke. And number 2, very important person, Rousseau. He brought so many changes, and his book Social Contract, it brought changes in Russia also. And in Social Contract, from this title itself we could guess it out. He pointed out that one contract should be there. Between whom and whom? Between the rulers and the ruled, or the people and their representatives. So there should be a contract between these 2 categories in the society. That was highlighted by him in his book Social Contract. And number 3, Montesquieu. Montesquieu wrote the famous book, The Spirit of Laws. The Spirit of Laws, very important, because he pointed out that power should be divided into the hands of 3 organs of the government. What are the 3 organs of the government? All of you very well aware of that. Am I right? What are the 3 organs? Yes. What are the 3 organs? Legislature, executive and judiciary. The power should be divided between these 3 organs of the government. Then only the power sharing technology might have been adapted, and then thereby power should not be focused or concentrated into the hands of a few or single. So the people should enjoy everything and they should get all needed things without any struggle. That is why he pointed out in his book The Spirit of Laws, the power must be divided between the 3 organs of the government. Legislature, we know that, law-making body; executive, law implementing body or law executing body; judiciary, law protecting body. I am talking about one of the functions of these 3 organs. So legislature, law, that is making body; executive, law implementing body; and judiciary, law protecting body. So once again, I would like to make you people, because the very important part of the lesson. So when we are talking about the middle class people are needed in order to bring changes in the society. If you want to make any change, or if you want to bring any sudden breakthrough, then that should be possible only by the middle class people. That was beautifully done in France by the educated people, and along with the French philosophers like Locke, Rousseau and Montesquieu. Now all these people ideas spread like wildfire. Just imagine, when they wrote and they circulated amongst the people, now each and every coffee house, saloon, in the streets, everywhere, the people were ready to talk about that. So my dear children, see, I started the topic, the French Revolution. Number 1, the storming of the prison Bastille. Number 2, we discussed about the very important part of the lesson, how Louis XVI he became the emperor or the king of France, and how the royal treasury was emptied. And we also discussed about the 3 estates with the help of a simple flow chart. And next we discussed about the subsistence crisis, and last but not the least, that is, we discussed about the rise of the middle class and what changes they brought. So as a quick review, I would like to make you people to take one question, that is, write the contributions of French philosophers. Please take down the question. Write the contribution of French philosophers like John Locke, Montesquieu and Rousseau. Write the contribution of French philosophers like John Locke, Rousseau and Montesquieu. Thank you.